Okay, so picture this. You have two massive armies staring each other down on a huge battlefield. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The fate of an entire kingdom is literally on the line. And right at this moment, a king, Duryodhana, gives a command to his generals. So let's deconstruct this one single command because, believe it or not, hidden inside is a masterclass in strategy.
And here it is, verse 1.11. I mean, on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? A king just telling his guys, hey, support your commander and, hold your positions. But like with so many things, the real genius is hiding just beneath the surface.
So that's really the big question we're asking here. Is this just a simple run-of-the-mill order, or is it a genuine masterstroke of strategy? And the answer? Well, it's not really in the English translation, it's in the original Sanskrit.
Yeah, the English translation, it gives you a good summary, but the original Sanskrit words, that's where the real tactical genius is. They're unbelievably precise.
Let's just take the first keyword here, ayanashu. Now, this doesn't just mean your positions. It specifically means at the strategic points. This implies a super carefully planned military formation. A phalanx where every single soldier's position is absolutely critical to holding the line. So when you look at all these keywords together, a much, much clearer picture starts to emerge. The generals have to be avastita, which is situated in their respective positions at these ayaneshu, these strategic points. And at the very same time, they must abhirakshantu, or give full support, specifically to Bhishmam Eva. And that Eva means to Bhishma only. The precision is it's incredible. And all this precision reveals something huge. We're not looking at one order here, but two. Duryodhana has woven two completely distinct, and you could even say conflicting commands, into a single sentence. Let's actually pull them apart to see the insane tactical challenge he's just created. He's telling his generals to do two things at the exact same time. First, hold your ground. Do not abandon your spot in the phalanx. And second, protect the commander-in-chief, Bhishma, at all costs. You can feel the strategic tension there immediately.
So, how do you do both? Seriously. How can you maintain the integrity of a battle line, which could be miles long, while also making sure you are always near this one specific person who is probably moving all over the battlefield? That right there, that is the tactical puzzle Duryodhana has just handed his commanders.
Which, of course, leads us to the next logical question. Why this intense, almost obsessive focus on Bhishma? Why would you risk the stability of your entire formation just for one guy, no matter how powerful he is? The answer is that Bhishma wasn't just another piece on the chessboard. He was the linchpin of the whole Kaurava army. You could say he was the central pillar that Duryodhana's entire hope for victory was resting on. And to really get this, you have to know who Bhishma was. Okay, so he was the supreme commander. He was the grandsire, a figure of immense respect for both armies. And by all accounts, he was the single most formidable warrior on that field. The man was a living legend. So here's the key insight. Duryodhana saw Bhishma's perceived invincibility, this idea of his unassailability, as his greatest strategic weapon. Bhishma wasn't just a fighter. He was a symbol. So protecting Bhishma served two purposes. First, it preserved his #1 military asset. But just as importantly, it was meant to use Bhishma as a psychological rallying point. The thinking was, as long as he's standing, the army will feel inspired and believe they can actually win. Okay, so let's pull back from this ancient battlefield for a second, because what this command reveals is way more than just military tactics. It gets at a timeless leadership principle that's just as relevant today as it was then. This is the fundamental dilemma for any leader, right? Doesn't matter if it's in a company, a sports team, or an army. How do you get every single individual to execute their specific role perfectly, while also making sure the entire team stays aligned on one single collective priority? Duryodhana's solution was to make his most powerful asset, Bhishma, the very thing that everyone had to focus on.
He tried to turn his unassailable champion into both the physical strength and the spiritual inspiration for the entire force. His success, or his failure, it all hinged on that single decision.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. How do the best leaders you can think of manage this balance? How do they make sure everyone on the team is doing their job while simultaneously rallying them all around a central, inspirational mission or person? It's a challenge as old as war itself, and it's captured perfectly in this one single verse.